Greetings, YouTube! The Doctor is in! Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons & Dragons. And today on the Doctor Spell Prognosis, we're talking about the spell Storm Sphere from the Elemental Evil Player's Companion. We're giving this a B+, but first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or comment. All right. I really like this spell. It's not an A spell. I just like the effects that it do, the flavor. I do like the flavor that it has. It just creating this big, giant mass of roiling clouds and a big sphere with lightning and thunder and winds just seems very cool to me. It could be a little bit better. I would tweak a few things, but it does have some added extra effects that are pretty nice. So it's a 4th level spell. It takes 1 action to cast. It has a range of 150 feet, which is great. It does blast out in a 20-foot radius, verbal and somatic components. It is a 1-minute duration with a concentration. You do want to concentrate on this spell. And so we'll get into the saving throw instinct. So a 20-foot radius sphere of whirling air springs into existence, centered on a point you choose within range. It remains for the duration. Each creature in the sphere, when it appears, or at the end of its turn, I don't like the end of their turn. I would rather that be the beginning of their turn. That would make this spell a little bit more plausible. So at the end of their turn, they got to succeed on a strength saving throw. I don't like that either. They're supposed to be dodging winds, and I can see the dodging part. I can see kind of resisting. There's supposed to be debris flying in the air because it's a massive, like, category 1 through 5 hurricane in a 20-foot radius. Not sure strength is the best one. Maybe dex would be a better one. Or they take 2d6 bludgeoning damage. I don't think that's too much to ask to put that at the beginning of the spell. The sphere's space is also difficult terrain. Again, with our difficult terrain spells, if we put plant growth down on this, then that becomes worse because plant growth is not difficult terrain, but it does amplify difficult terrain a lot. So until the spell ends, you can use a bonus action on each of your turns to cause a bolt of lightning to leap from the center of the sphere toward one creature you choose within 60 feet of the center. So that's way far out from the center of the sphere. The sphere is a 20-foot radius. You can start slapping lightning bolts on stuff from 60 feet from that center. So they don't have to be in it. You make a ranged spell attack. This I like. I like this a lot. It is not dependent on a saving throw. It's dependent on how well you can hit something. And hitting things in Dungeons & Dragons, particularly monsters from the Monster Manual and things like that, is particularly easy because their armor classes are not that great. You have advantage on the attack roll if the target is in the sphere. So if they're within 20 feet of the center, you have advantage, which is great. Then you do 4d6 lightning damage. So it's a free 4d6 lightning damage every single turn, pretty much. It's great. And then creatures within 30 feet of the sphere, so they don't have to be within the sphere, have disadvantage on perception checks made to listen, not to see. That's another thing I don't understand. You've got all these buffeting rains and winds and debris coming in your face. In addition, the howling is so intense. I think it should be disadvantage on wisdom perception checks, period. Now, you can upcast this spell using a 5th level or higher. The damage increases for each of its effects by 1d6. So if you cast this at 5th level, then the bludgeoning effect is 3d6, and the lightning effect is 5d6. Again, that's pretty good for a bonus action every single turn. So, and it is usable by sorcerers and wizards. The sorcerer doesn't have, as a sorcerer, it's a base spell for them. I think when this book came out, they didn't really have in mind a lot of the specialty subclasses that go along with each of the main classes. So sorcerers technically don't have a good option that would enhance this spell. Not saying that there isn't an option. Tempest, the Storm Sorcerer is okay, but they don't really have a thing that would completely enhance this spell. Wizards have a few things, but I do want to address one thing, and that is this Tempest Domain Cleric. So the Tempest Domain Cleric has a few things that they have. They have the Channel Divinity Destructive Wrath. When you roll lightning damage or thunder damage, you can use your Divine Channel Divinity to deal maximum damage instead of rolling. So you get this at 2nd level. So you could be a 7th level wizard and a 2nd level Tempest Domain Cleric, and you could max out the lightning damage. Now, there are better uses for that, for things like lightning bolt or for chain lightning, things like that. But you do have that option. Thunderbolt. Now this, you'd have to be pretty high level, so that is, you'd have to be a 7th level wizard or sorcerer and then a 6th level Tempest Domain Cleric. At 6th level, when you deal lightning damage to a larger, smaller creature, you can push it up to 10 feet away from you, which means you could push it into the sphere. But again, they have to end their turn, and I really don't like that. They have to end their turn in the sphere. Now, for wizards, it's an evocation spell, so obviously you could go with evocation, which allows you to sculpt the spell, and everybody that's in there succeeds their saving throw automatically that you choose. War Magic has these power surges. Once per turn, when you deal damage to a creature or object with a wizard spell, you can spend a power surge to do extra force damage to that target, which is equal to half your level, which is just a little bonus bit of damage. You don't get very many of these at all. You get them, you get one, and then you get more when you dispel spells or counter spells. So it really encourages that kind of action. So not a lot of great things to put on top of this, but I do like the fact that you can do this like free lightning damage every turn, and it's going to force things to move around the battlefield. They don't want to get stuck in here and have to make that saving throw at the end of their turn. You can always push them in. And it's difficult terrain. You can always make that difficult terrain worse. So there are a lot of options. All right, that's what I got for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.